across the road in Egypt. I think whether it be through our parents or through church or through even colleagues in school or work or whatever, interjects through mysterious ways to tell you لا أنت ماشي غلط, or you're walking in the wrong direction. So I think him as a father is a good example of how we should be for our kids as well. And I don't know if there's anything else anybody wanted to. Yes. Mm. For the way that they act, being disrespectful. Yeah. So whether you should just accept that or correct that. Okay, so just for the live stream. So the question is just to make sure I've got it right as well, is if a child is being disrespectful to sort of me as a parent, as a mum or as a father, when is the line to accept that that's just them being their age or they're being disrespectful? And I think Uncle put it quite nicely at the start, Uncle George, by saying it's not necessarily at that very moment, but it's the continuous process of our relationship that we correct these things. So in that moment, they might be really angry, or they might be, there's something else going on, or they're distracted and they're playing football and I'm trying to grab them and mum, leave me alone, and they could kick you and then they go play, for example, because they're focused on the task at hand, which is the football. In that instance, I don't think it's right to just smack them in front of their friends. I don't suggest smacking your kids, I'm not saying that. But as an example, you wouldn't smack them in front of their friends to then show them disrespect in front of all their sort of friends and everything, and then grab them by the coat or whatever and just throw them in the car, because then they don't feel respected and they wouldn't respect you from the way that you acted, if that makes sense. Even though it's a very bad example, I do apologize. But you also, I think, maybe then it's say, okay, what's going on? And they could say, I just want to play football. Okay, 5 minutes, and then shall we go? Okay. And then in the car, when they've calmed down and they've done what they wanted, it might be worth saying, Habibi, you shouldn't, because, and give the reason why, so that you can teach them a little bit. But I think, and I'm not perfect on this, so please anybody else come in. But I think with this point, yeah. Oh, is it just me acting my age? Or am I being disrespectful to my parents? Yeah, I think that's a good point. As a child, I'll have to think a little bit here. I can't really remember exactly what it's like, and I'm a little bit older than that age. But I think the important thing is I don't remember a specific scenario, and that might just be my age. But I don't remember a specific scenario of when I disrespected my parents, or when, or maybe it was just me being disrespectful or not accepting what they said. Naturally, there will be times where I disrespected them, 100%. I don't deny that. But I can't remember any specific examples. But I know that I respect my father, or at least I think I respect my father. I hope that I do, But ask my dad, if I did respect him or not. But like Uncle said, you don't remember any of the lessons or anything like that, but you remember, when I think of my dad, I have him up here, right? But and I think that's not because he used to tell me off every time I said something bad to him or I disobeyed him or something like that, but also because of the relationship that we had. If your child truly feels comfortable with you and with your father and sees, I think this is quite important as well, which we mentioned, but just to hit this point as well, I saw how my mum respects my father, therefore I respect my father. I saw how my father respected and loved my mum, therefore I respect and love my mum. That relationship is the foundation of which they base their way that they treat both of you, if that makes sense. That's really important, because if they see that the father doesn't respect the mother and just, you go do this, you go do that, you go do that, and doesn't really care for the mother, then naturally why would I respect my mother when my father doesn't respect my mother, or vice versa? My mother doesn't listen to my father, or she just does what she wants, or she acts behind his back, so I'll do the same. I'll act behind the back of my father, because that's what my mum does, so she's my mum. So I think that's quite important as well, to elders and to authority, whether it be family or whatever, or school teachers or priests or whatever. But there's a bit of it's almost becoming diluted across the generations. That's just an observation, but I think that's the way the world is going. And I think it's our job to try and sort of reiterate the point that, yeah, okay, Mesh, your friends might not respect their parents and all that sort of stuff. Yani, but you don't know, maybe they're going through a tough time. Maybe they're, mum and dad, I've heard that maybe they're not going to stay together and their family's a bit broke. But I don't think it's wrong that they should be sheltered from that. Like, it's okay to be open with your child. So I remember in the first talk, I wasn't here, but I heard from watching the live stream that I think nowadays kids are exposed to, for example, sexual images online from the age of like 9, 10, 11, which was horrifying for me to hear that, right? Because in my age, in my group, when I was a kid, it was probably around 14, 15, 16, which is still very, very young. But for your gil, like not my parents' age and stuff like that, it was probably a little bit older, 18, 19, 20. I'm guessing, I don't know. So naturally, that things are moving much younger as well. So we should be more honest and have these honest conversations with our kids, and say, I talk about like scary things, like because there may be an example of somebody in the class whose parents are divorced. And you can talk about how that's very difficult and how they must be going through a tough time. Because usually that kid might be a bully or be bullied. And then, and then we can talk to them and say, yeah, but they're going through a tough time because